Alright, so this is the second video in the workshop. This video is based on the thoraxal region of the body. So the top, lower extremities of the body. And then the next video is going to span over, hopefully, to certain other attributes, undisclosed at the present time. Alright, so we studied the head last time, and we got an understanding on how we can make a head out of a primitive very quickly and memorize, kind of where everything's at mathematically, and just using divisions of certain attributes within the poly group or poly frame to figure out where things lie. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is do the exact same thing with this region. And you're like, wow, it's a lot of heads you got laid out there, Jason. What are you doing there? So here, it's not a totem pole, no. And these little measurement things, I was just goofing around. So what you do, and what I'll do is destroy these and save this file as body, and this is going to come along with the video. And let's see if I can get rid of that too. Alright, so there we go. A couple measuring nodes in here. Yeah, I think I got it all. Cool. Alright, so we're going to take our head, the average human head, and we're going to make this character 8 heads tall. Okay, so we got 8 head tall character, and I've seen it range from like 7 to 9, but 8 being average. And then I'll have arguments over no, there's a 9 head average in a human being, and then there's a 7 head average. Well, 7 head average, yeah, that'd be kind of ridiculous. He'd be pretty short, but I could see 9 sometimes. Super model female, maybe, with high heels and a good hat. So, other than that, 8 heads are what we're after. So I'm going to take this one head and I'm going to duplicate it. Duplicate with transform. And what that means is, if I just move this down and go edit, duplicate with transform, and I can get even lazier and hit G on my keyboard. One, two, three, four, five, six, 8. There we go. There's our 8 head tall person. Now, if I take a head, I'm going to combine these. Mesh, combine. So I'm combining these ones right here. So if I take a head and divide it into 2/3, okay, that 2/3 mark is usually what? Right here on the top of the brow. Okay, so if I take that, I'm just going to take a curve here, put a line there. Okay, I'm going to take and move all these down to that line. Okay, what I just did is I moved the head regions down a little bit, but that way it gives me a good ratio when it comes. It's still an 8 head tall person. Okay, I'm just not counting this. I'm not counting that gap in between, because the gap is the neck. So here's a good thorax. Notice that it lines up good within the 3 heads. and this is my neck region. So I only did that, I only moved it just to have a better look at the pieces of geometry that come across here. That's why. Alright, so take the top head, I'm going to edit, duplicate it. Alright, so the structure of the man's top part where it meets the neck, there, the shoulder region, is exactly, give or take a skosh, 3 heads wide. Alright? So let's edit, duplicate it. There we go, 3 heads. Alright, and the hips are 2 heads wide. There we go. So do you need to like lay out your heads every time that you do this? No. Well, if you're smart about it, I could have took a polygon or just a polycube box, and I know what, that my head is 50, right? So 50 times 8 is 200, or is it 400? Wow. This is what happens in a day of calculators. Can't remember what my calculation was. So 50 times 8 equals, 400. Okay, there's 400. And you'll find that probably lines up really nicely with the overall length of the character. See, like top of the head. Okay, so if we put divisions of what, 8 in here, now you kind of see why I moved the heads down a little bit, because now I always have to guess. And let's put my thorax in here. So now I have no real way of understanding where the bicep, not the bicep, but the pectoral region, the abdomen region, and the crotch fall. Just a little shy of what would be there if I just took this and lined it up perfectly. See? So let's take that. Let's take this. And let's start out building a box. Okay, so our box is good. I usually make these in my perspective. Just because of Maya's new little feature there, I got to click and drag out. And let's see, we got height. Okay. So what am I missing? I'm missing something here. Maybe not. Oh, wow, that was dead on. And I didn't even type anything in. 150 for the height. See, 150 fits very nicely in there. Okay, divisions of height. Let's state three major divisions. And those three are want the upper body, abdomen, and the crotch area. Okay, division width. I always go with 4 because that gives me a median line that allows me to split the character down the center. All these tricks. And I can put edge loops in anywhere else. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, so I'll show you how I got this. Okay, now we can scale, because right now I'm not using math. I'm using the width of the head as the measurements here. So I'm not, no fancy math like my thorax is some kind of weird formula to figure that out on every human. That would be impossible. So it's based off the human head. Oh, yeah. One more division line in here. Okay, this division line, however, is, if you look at the head right in this region, is actually 1/3 here. One-third below this line. Okay, so here is my upper body, and here's my lower body. Okay, so I can make a simple shape there. Just add one more. And you notice that's in the brow area of the face. Okay, so I can move this in. I'm going to take these points and put them up on the hip. Okay, the hip, 1/3 down. So when you're dealing with the face, it's a lot of half divisions, and when you're dealing with the body, it's a lot of 2/3, 1/3 things. And posture is really important too. If you look at this, see the posture of it? See the posture of mine? It's like a box. And what am I missing? A side view? Yep. Side. Alright, so that posture is more like if I put this here, this here, and let's put an edge loop in here stating depth, because that way I can put this vertex on the top. So I'm wrapping around the heads. Okay, this one I'm going to pull in, and these three I'm going to pull in and rotate just a little bit like that. There's our good posture. Okay, another thing you should look out for is this. Okay, so here my edge in this region sticks out farther than my underneath my rib cage area. Alright, let's shape this guy up a little bit. Let's go to the vertex, just like the head. We're going to grab all the vertexes here, and we're going to shrink them down. Why can't I see that? Ah. Alright, so this is the sort of shape I'm after right here. And how am I going to get it with this? Alright, so once I have the stomach area, it's all like divised out. Okay, I put an extra edge loop in this region right here so I can put these going down. Okay, so this goes up, this goes down. These are vertical with that one. And how I can actually tell, you know, where things line up here is right here on the the face on the side. That's where I put that point. And that's where I kind of put that hip mark. This one should be a little further in though, because my hips stand out a little less than your shoulders. Okay, so okay, and I know that one's right there because it's close to, this is where my hip should lie, right here. So if I want to make this guy fatter, go within like the region, like right in this region a little bit. Same with right here. If I wanted it, I could go anywhere from like in this region. Super athletic, anorexic. Okay, so let's look at this on the side. Okay, my buttocks region. Right there. Anywhere from there to there. Okay, so there's my super low poly primitive. This one I just straightened out his butt on the back and took these lines and straightened them up a little bit and sucked them in. That's all I did on the back of that one. So you get that nice sweep. Okay, so let's try to do it without any reference, maybe, just for the heck of it. Okay, if you build a couple of these, you're good to go, but maybe just do one more. Okay, so let's start out with a box, boom, polycube, width 50, height 150, depth 50. I can use my heads as a reference. You know, I made those, so if I could find my geometry, there we are. I just discourage external reference sometimes, just because I want you to know how to do this stuff off the top of your head, like an artist would. Let's see, polycube input. Okay, the height, we said 3 major subdivisions, with the added exception that there's going to be a new one in here, but first I have to get the other ones out. So the width, I said 4, and I ended up putting 1 there anyway, so I'm going to say that right there. Okay, insert edge loop tool, 2/3 down. This time I'm going to grab my vertexes right off the bat, scale. Okay, these are my width of my shoulders. My pectoral region. Rotate. And the only thing I didn't do legit was this right here, this beveled. So here, I'm going to grab this vertex and move it to right there. And this one I'm going to move to there. And he needs hips. Alright, if you really wanted to get fancy, pull that in, pull these in, pull these in. There we go. It's a very low poly, but that's exactly what I want, because I'm able to produce this out of my head, that shape. And you do it enough, you kind of look at them like, okay, which one was the best one? What characteristics did I really place on it to make it better than the other one? Like this one, I really followed the heads. This one, I kind of like did a little bit less in the heads as far as the width of all three of them combined. See, I went inside the bounds just a little bit. But that's okay, you know, I mean, really. You got all kinds of characters. Just know that if they fall right here, a little bit over, a little bit under, you get different variations of people. That's how it works. Okay, so next we're going to work on the extremities, I think. So, on to the next part of the lesson. So, make a couple bodies, and then turn in the lesson to me when done. Alright? Till next lesson.